Tonight, Governor Kasich targeting Lake Erie algae, but the move is being met with resistance.
Plus, brand new video as a fire races through a local building.
And the parking in downtown Toledo could soon see a facelift. What's being done that may make things easier. Now on Fox 36.
On Fox 36, from Toledo's news leader, this is WTOL 11 News at 10.
This isn't a step forward for Lake Erie. It's an attempt to sidestep the Clean Water Act.
Opposition to John Kasich's latest executive order, while the governor believes it is an aggressive way to improve Lake Erie water quality, others feel it won't even scratch the surface. Blair Caldwell explaining how farmers and Lake Erie advocates normally at odds tonight both agree to disagree with the governor.
Will it be enough? People normally on opposite sides doubt Governor John Kasich's executive order will cut the amount of runoff, creating Lake Erie's harmful algal blooms.
Governor Kasich is trying to pull a fast one. It's pretty much what it is. And until people start demanding state government do its job, we're going to just get more of the same.
It's not going to make Lake Erie pristine again. The idea that one more regulation or one more set of rules is going to magically make the algae disappear, that's just not the case.
State agencies will target watersheds with high levels of phosphorus, put nutrient management plans for farms into place, and build on their efforts to improve the water quality in Ohio. While it sounds great, some are not sold.
So to say that we're fighting regulation is not the case. We just want a seat at the table so that we can figure out what's the best way to get things done.
The Farm Bureau says they have been working to improve water quality for some time, like a nutrient management plan, which is in Kasich's order. The executive order's size, scope, and lack of clarity concerns the Bureau. Meanwhile, advocates for a clean Lake Erie say this isn't a step forward, but rather a distraction.
Not only is it not enough, it's an effort to avoid doing what they're supposed to do under the Clean Water Act.
They don't think these proposals will be enforced like the Federal Clean Water Act, which provides accountability and legal deadlines. While different groups have differing opinions, they hope to find a solution that works for Lake Erie. Blair Caldwell, WTOL 11 on Fox 36.
Tonight, the Lucas County Commissioners are responding to Governor Kasich's executive order. They say, in part, quote, while action to address toxic algae is welcome from the Kasich administration, we are concerned that this does not go far enough. We need policy that will meaningfully increase the level of accountability needed to move us toward the goal of a 40% reduction by 2025.
First round of the Marathon Classic shaping up to be a beautiful day. Let's get right over to Chief Meteorologist Robert Shields.
Yeah, I hope everyone's getting a good night's sleep tonight for all the excitement that's going to be going on out there tomorrow, and the weather's perfect for it. 71 degrees, the dew point still down below 60, and that will allow our overnight low temperatures to do that as well, and should reach about 57 or 58 degrees by the start of the day tomorrow. Does look like dry weather is going to continue. Our next chance of thunderstorms, we think, may hold off until Sunday and into Monday as well. I'll pinpoint that chance for you coming up in my first alert 10-day forecast.
Thanks, Robert. Caught on camera, this huge blaze in Adrian. It destroyed a building early this morning on the east side of the city. The fire took about an hour before it was controlled by firefighters. Right now, it's still unclear if the building was occupied or vacant. No one was hurt. Investigators still trying to figure out how it began. In the courtroom, a woman accused of killing a 6-month-old boy. Angie Walker facing murder charges in the death of Levi Ashley. Today, the jury saw tough photos of the autopsy showing the injuries. Prosecutors say Walker was watching her boyfriend's child when he suffered the injuries. The week-long trial continues tomorrow.
The first suspect in a kidnapping and rape case makes his first court appearance today. Simon Juan had a preliminary hearing in Bowling Green. He and 3 other men are accused of kidnapping and raping 2 teen siblings late last month. Another suspect has been arrested and is waiting extradition from Texas. 2 others are still on the run tonight. Over the weekend, a heartless theft occurred at a local nonprofit. Mom's House guides at-risk single parents through their own educational goals and provides tools and resources needed to become effective parents. Victoria Idoni checking in with them today to see how they're recovering.
Our first goal on Monday morning was to continue to have operations and be normal, to normalize as much as possible for our families so that they felt minimal impact.
Commercial kitchen appliances, computers used for operations, and more than a month's supply of food were taken. For the kids, toys like their little red wagon, educational tablets, and other miscellaneous items were also stolen. Right now, Mom's House doesn't have the commercial-grade resources legally required by the health department to be able to cook for the kids.
This is impacting our personnel, our team. It's taking time away from us programming, doing the things that we do on a regular basis. So long term, it will have a big impact on our bottom line.
Major damage was done to the entryway of the building. A faulty circuit breaker didn't alert police thieves were there. Those problems have now been fixed.
Just thank you guys so much from the bottom of all of our hearts, because these little faces are the ones that tell the story, and they're the ones that are going to grow up and run the community one day. And so because of your support and your helpfulness, they're going to be able to do that without knowing any bad thing that's ever happened in their life.
Mom's House strives to break the cycles of poverty and welfare by offering its participants a hand up, not a handout. But in order to do that, they need access to resources too, and are now accepting monetary donations and gift cards.
Hopefully we have some good news very soon that the person who did this is getting caught.
To find out how you can help, visit us online at WTOL.com or on the WTOL app. From downtown Toledo, Victoria Idoni, WTOL 11 on Fox 36.
Christy Lee, following a breaking first alert just into the newsroom, police and the FBI are on the hunt for a man accused of robbing a bank. This happened at the Fifth Third Bank on Woodville Road in Northwood just after 4:30 this afternoon. Police say a clean-shaven black male handed the teller a note and demanded money. He was able to get away in an older model tan minivan. If you have any information on this case, call Northwood Police. That number, 419-691-5053, right there on your screen, or the FBI. Dan?
Tonight, President Trump harshly criticizing Germany and other NATO allies over defense spending. The president is in Belgium for the NATO summit. Mr. Trump began the day by asking how member nations are supposed to be protecting each other from Russia when Germany is reliant on Russia for natural gas. Germany is firing back at those comments. What that country has to say coming up at 10:30. Democrats are planning to use health care as an issue to challenge the confirmation of Judge Brett Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court. During a press conference today, Senate Democrats talk about the most sympathetic of victims. They accuse Judge Kavanaugh of a history of circuit court opinions that could lead to a destruction of the Affordable Care Act. Some Senate Republicans partly agree with that.
Donald Trump ran on picking a list of which he was on and said that he would repeal Obamacare. If you got a problem with President Trump's picks, then you need to turn out and beat him next time.
One vote short of a majority needing to block Kavanaugh's pick. Democrats are left with one option: to delay, to scour everything he's written, and take as long as they can to do it.
Whether you live, work, or visit downtown occasionally, odds are you're struggling to find parking.
So what do you think needs to change to better the parking situation? Ida Tedesco finding a way for you to voice your opinion.
She's even finding out what locals around town think should change. So Ida, what do they say?
Well, Viviana, just about everybody had a different idea on how to change downtown parking to make it easier and safer. Now's your chance to voice your opinion too.
Parking has become a bit of a pain in downtown Toledo. Drivers needed to improve not just now,
but trying to predict 5, 10, even 20 years out what our parking needs going to be.
And do we have a lot of needs? That's why Connect Toledo, a downtown development corporation, is partnering with the City of Toledo, Lucas County, Toledo-Lucas County Port Authority, and the Downtown Toledo Improvement District to find out now how to make parking better. Whether you come here just a few times a week.
This guy is in the Toledo Repertoire Theater. He's part of a production that's coming up, so he's down here 2 days a week.
For the parking. Well, on a game day necessarily, I'm parking at least 3 miles down the road.
Or for those extra special occasions.
So I'm in town for my wedding.
The survey went live today and takes about 3 minutes to complete. It's open to everyone, no matter where you live. It asks basic questions like how convenient you'd rate current downtown parking, how far you're willing to walk from your parking spot to your destination, and ranking what's most important to you.
Safety, number one. I would say then the location, the locale. And then the third one, I believe, was price. Yeah, I mean, I'll pay a little bit more if I know it's a safe area.
Connect Toledo would like to eventually see parking lots turn into parking buildings. An idea locals can definitely get on board with.
It would be nice to have at least 2 or 3 more parking garages, or just one big one that can accommodate all of the downtown traffic.
These changes could avoid a situation like this when you come downtown.
We get a parking ticket, but I mean, it's partially my fault because I trusted a stranger who said that the meters, they don't actually ticket you.
Yeah, that girl learned the hard way about that one. Now, if you're interested in taking their survey, we posted the link right now on our free news app. So go on there, voice your opinion, let them know what you think needs to change as far as downtown parking goes. Reporting live downtown, Ida Tedesco, WTOL 11 on Fox 36.
More money could be coming out of your wallet on big purchases. TARTA trying to get a sales tax on the ballot again after failing last year. The public transit system proposed a 0.5% sales tax increase last year, but it failed. This year it's 0.4%. That would save you some money.
Part of the criticism that we heard before was that TARTA needed a new strategic vision, a new idea of what public transit should look like in our region. We've developed that strategic vision.
7 member communities need to pass resolutions along with the TARTA Board of Trustees and the Lucas County Commissioners. If they all approve it, the tax will go on the November ballot.
A call 11 for action. East Toledo residents say there's a reoccurring dumping problem. Our Amy Steigerwald went to see Utah Street where the trash is piling up. Neighbors say people dump their trash despite signs saying that's illegal.
You got this way, you got to go that way, you got to swerve all the way around, and then sometimes you got to take the long way.
Dumping is illegal in the city of Toledo. The city of Toledo tells us they're referring this incident to the Illegal Dumping Task Force. Did you know they had one? They'll try to catch the people who keep illegally dumping stuff.
The Salvation Army is helping families prepare to go back to school. The organization providing backpacks filled with school supplies to families in need as part of their Tools for Schools program. Area Coordinator Major Scott Kelly anticipates they will give out more than 1,200 backpacks.
It's a really rewarding thing because we're helping families to make sure their children are prepared for school. So to see the kids actually get their backpacks, and some of them put them right on, and they're very proud to have new backpacks to begin the new school year.
You can donate at any of the collection boxes located at Tony Paco selected Burger Kings or Churchill Markets. If you would like to receive a backpack, applications being accepted July the 18th and 19th.
Coming up, we could be getting an announcement from Apple soon. We'll tell you what rumors are flying.
And the Fresh Market looking to close some stores, but will it affect our local store?
We're told take your vitamins, but are they really doing anything? We have the latest study on the topic next.
The U.S. Department of Transportation is taking another look at rules about animals on flights. This coming after passengers' complaints about trying to bring exotic animals on board. Airlines say some animals are not trained and leave messes behind. The carriers want a line drawn between trained service dogs that help people with disorders and other animals.
The UK is fining Facebook. This comes after Facebook shared private information with Cambridge Analytica. The UK's data regulators slapped the company with a $660,000 fine. This after the personal data of 87 million was taken to target voters in Britain and the U.S.
The iPhone 10 and iPhone SE may be on the way out as Apple makes way for new models. Research firm Bluefin says 3 new iPhones could be released next year. The analysts say the iPhone 10 and iPhone SE would be discontinued later this year. The 11 Plus is expected to be similar to the iPhone 10. The iPhone 9 will be more budget-friendly. Apple, by the way, has not yet confirmed the report.
Some changes at the top for Dunkin' Donuts. CEO Nigel Travis is retiring and will be replaced by David Hoffman. Travis has been CEO almost a decade. The company said Travis was named executive chairman of the board of directors. Hoffman will take over the CEO position immediately. The Fresh Market says it will close 15 stores across the U.S. Closings will take place over the next 2 to 4 weeks. The company said it will do its best to relocate workers to other locations. Fresh Market currently operates 176 stores across 24 states. We do have a fresh market in Toledo. It isn't expected to close.
Oprah Winfrey is getting into the restaurant business. Winfrey announcing she's investing in health-driven restaurant True Food Kitchen. The chain currently operates 23 restaurants in 10 states and says that Winfrey actually approached them about the deal. The brand is expected to double in size over the next 3 years. True Food Kitchens bills itself as a healthy, organic, made-from-scratch seasonal restaurant chain that focuses on anti-inflammatory diets. Reports are now linking World Cup viewing with a spike in domestic violence. Reports showing that domestic violence increases when England wins or loses a match. In 2013, abuse increased by 26% when England won and 38% when they lost, ahead of England's World Cup semi-final against Croatia on Thursday, which England lost. The UK's National Centre for Domestic Violence released these photos. This is part of their campaign with the tagline, "If England gets beaten, so will she."
Wisconsin reports its first ever Rocky Mountain spotted fever death. Health officials urging residents to take precautions after the state reported a fatal case linked to the sickness. The victim was said to be a woman in her late 50s. She was bitten by a tick while camping in early May and diagnosed with the tick-borne illness in mid-June. She died shortly after.
Taking vitamins may be a waste of your time and money. A new study published by the American Heart Association finds vitamins do little or nothing to reduce the risk of heart disease. Calcium and vitamin D supplements recommended by doctors show no benefits for the average healthy person. The exception, pregnant women who need prenatal vitamins and certain people with vitamin deficiencies.
Coming up later, we have new photos from the Thailand soccer team as they're recovering. We have the doctor's greatest concerns for them coming up.
Tonight, tomorrow, it feels so comfortable. Be thinking about the weekend. It is going to become more humid. The details are up next.
From Toledo's news leader, this is your first alert weather forecast.
I see no reason to change our forecast here for the LPGA Marathon Classic. That means really smooth sailing and great weather the first couple of days. Into the weekend, it will become much more humid. And well, this will be an interesting test for the golfers, don't you think, as it comes hot and humid, and then a chance of some scattered thunderstorms come Sunday. We'll be updating this forecast as the weekend approaches, but looks pretty solid, and the chance on Sunday gets up to about 60%. High today in Toledo, 87 degrees. Look where the 90s went. They were pushed by a northeast breeze all the way down into the St. Louis area and into Louisville, and we have a little bit of comfort here for a couple of days. How about that high in Port Clinton of 81? What a day along the lakeshore. Monroe hit 82, Defiance 85 for your high there, and in Bryan 85 degrees. Current temperatures are right around 70 and heading toward the 60s and even 50s for overnight lows. This is where we do the little switcheroo, and if you're near the lake and bay, it stays a little bit warmer overnight because of your proximity to the lake here in mid to late summer. Overnight to tomorrow morning, the sky remains perfectly clear. Don't crane your neck looking for the moon tonight, though. It's not up there in the sky. Should be a great night for stargazing. And then bright sunshine tomorrow will lead to another pleasant summer day with a very light east breeze. Noontime, there'll be plenty of sunshine overhead and 80 degrees. A great day to spend the lunch hour outdoors tomorrow. And the afternoon high will top out nearly identical to today. I think maybe we hit 86, just 1 degree down on the thermometer dial. Friday's high is 92, Saturday 93, and Sunday a 60% chance of showers and storms. Monday, though, an 80% chance. And here's where your cold front actually comes through the area, and this is your best bet if you're looking for some soaking rain out of the next system. Monday is when that would be the most likely, and next week we're looking toward another stretch of really delightful summer weather. It will come during the week again, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and it may heat up again a touch at least for the following weekend. And on Wednesday, when we do 10 days, you just get Saturday there on the tail end of the following weekend.
We have to wait till tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah, to get the second weekend. Yeah.
Question for you about Sunday. LPGA will be finishing about 5 o'clock on Sunday. Are these storms maybe going to boil up in the afternoon?
Yeah.
Or because they could move the tee times up and get it done earlier if they have weather threats?
I see. Well, at this point in time, they probably just roll the dice and take their chances the way the weather pattern looks. And I don't think that's going to change really, so it'll just be a chance. Everything in life is a chance, isn't it?
He said, roll the dice. There you go. Thanks, Robert.
Thanks, Robert. President Trump was at the NATO summit today, and there were some tense moments.
Plus, we're learning more about the $200 billion worth of tariffs President Trump wants to put in Chinese goods. President Trump is bringing some very tough love to a meeting of NATO allies in Belgium. The president began by slamming NATO in general and Germany in particular, and he questioned why the U.S. is footing the bill. John Roberts has more.
Opening the first morning of the NATO summit, President Trump held back nothing, ripping Germany for its deal with Vladimir Putin to buy Russian gas.
We're supposed to protect you against Russia, but they're paying billions of dollars to Russia, and I think that's very inappropriate. Ultimately, Germany will have almost 70% of their country controlled by Russia with natural gas. So you tell me, is that appropriate?
The so-called Nord Stream pipelines will carry Russian natural gas directly to Germany. President Trump today argued Germany will have to rely too much on Russian energy, a threat to Germany's major role in NATO.
Germany is a captive of Russia because they supply. They got rid of their coal plants. They got rid of their nuclear. They're getting so much of the oil and gas from Russia. I think it's something that NATO has to look at.
Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton unloaded on Chancellor Angela Merkel today, tweeting, Nord Stream 2 strikes at the heart of NATO unity. No amount of preening in Berlin will cover this nakedly selfish policy. But Senate Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Bob Corker thought President Trump was sending the wrong message.
Sometimes it feels like we punch our friends in the nose and hold our hand out to people that are working strongly against us, like Russia and Putin.
The president's criticism of Germany drew a sharp note of dissension from NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg.
Because we understand that when we stand together also when dealing with Russia, we are stronger. I think what we have seen is that...
No, you're just making Russia richer.
In an afternoon meeting with Merkel, President Trump brought up the pipeline, but insisted the discussion was cordial.
We have a very, very good relationship with the Chancellor. We have a tremendous relationship with Germany.
Germany's foreign minister stood by the pipeline decision.
Wir sind keine Gefangenen.
We are not prisoners, either of the United States or Russia. We are one of the guarantors of a free world, and that will remain the case.
At a reception following the summit, President Trump and Merkel appeared to have patched over their differences, at least temporarily, smiling and chatting with each other. The other big issue at the Brussels summit, NATO members not pulling their weight financially.
It's disproportionate and not fair to the taxpayers of the United States, and we're going to make it fair.
24 of 29 NATO nations are not living up to their commitment to spend 2% of GDP on shared defense. The list includes Germany, France, Canada, Spain, and Belgium, where NATO is headquartered. Many members have recently increased their contributions.
Your message is having an impact, and we have to build on that to make sure that we have further increases.
The president's critics accuse him of wanting to dismantle the NATO alliance. But administration sources tell Fox News President Trump wants a successful summit and a strong show of solidarity and commitment among NATO members that he can take into his meetings next week with Vladimir Putin. In a consensus declaration setting up tomorrow's summit communique, NATO members adopted strong language on support for the alliance, a tough stance on Putin's annexation of Crimea, and a pledge to increase contributions. And President Trump upped the ante today, saying, why stop at 2% of GDP? Why not go to 4%? But that would mean even the United States would have to dig deeper. While our percentage of GDP contributions to NATO have recently topped 5%, this year they are projected to top out at about 3.5%. At the NATO summit in Brussels, Belgium, John Roberts, Fox News.
The trade war between the U.S. and China heating up as President Trump announces a new round of tariffs on thousands of imports from China. $200 billion in Chinese imports could be hit with new tariffs. This could include food and items like burglar alarms. Democrats stressing that no one wins trade wars.
We're hurting our real ability to make China come to the table and make concessions.
The Trump administration is blaming this latest round of tariffs on China's decision to retaliate against the U.S.'s first round of tariffs.
Former FBI lawyer Lisa Page didn't appear before a Capitol Hill interview today. She was supposed to be interviewed over what Republicans say was Justice Department bias against then-candidate Trump. Page's lawyers say they canceled because the FBI didn't provide timely access to notes and records. Republicans remain focused on a text message conversation between Lisa Page and Peter Strzok.
A moment of silence in Congress today for victims of the shooting at the Capital Gazette newspaper in Maryland. Members of Congress taking a moment to honor the victims of the June 28th shooting. Gunman Jared Ramos, you may remember, opening fire at the building, killing 4 journalists and a sales assistant.
An Ohio lawmaker is still hitting back on claims he turned a blind eye to sexual abuse at OSU. Several former wrestlers say they were sexually assaulted by a doctor while attending Ohio State University. They say Representative Jim Jordan knew about the abuse and ignored it. Jordan says he'll sit down with investigators and insists he's not lying.
I'm telling the truth. Look, I stood up to the Speaker of the House from my home state, stood up to the IRS, and have stood up to the FBI. To think that I would not stand up for my athletes is ridiculous.
Yesterday, the Conservative Freedom Caucus, which Jordan co-founded, voted to support him. House Representative Paul Ryan also stood behind Jordan. The doctor at the center of the accusation, Dr. Richard Strauss, died in 2005.
We're getting our first look at those 12 Thai boys after their dramatic rescue from a flooded cave. You can see them smiling and chatting in their hospital beds. Right now, the concern is malnutrition and dehydration. The boys lost an average of 4.5 pounds each. They should make a quick recovery, but experts warn of other post-traumatic psychiatric problems.
I would imagine that the rescue that took place was extremely traumatic for the children as well as the coach, and that will be something that has to be addressed as well.
Officials say the boys will remain hospitalized for 7 to 10 days. After that, doctors will make home visits for about a month.
Second arrest has been made in connection to the fatal shooting of rapper XXXTentacion. 22-year-old Michael Boatwright was arrested. Investigators say Boatwright was one of the 2 armed suspects who confronted the rapper before he was shot to death. The rapper was shot and killed in June when he was ambushed. Investigators still looking for 22-year-old Robert Allen.
In Wisconsin, 1 firefighter has died after a gas explosion, and just look at how it leveled the area. He's been identified as Corey Barr. Right now, fire crews are doing a search of buildings damaged in the explosion, but no one was reported missing. Neighbors said they could feel the force of the explosion from blocks away.
Oh boy, stunning story of survival. An Idaho man gets impaled by a 30-pound metal rod, and he lived. Warning, these pictures are graphic. These images show the rod running straight through Justin Firth's body. The rod fell from a piece of fence equipment, landing straight through his back, pinning him to the ground. Doctors spent 4 hours removing the nearly 4-foot-long rod. The spear was millimeters from puncturing major organs and arteries. Firth will make a near full recovery.
Just incredible. We'll listen to this, a brawl breaking out between 2 families just looking to get cool. They were at a Nashville water park when the fists, well, they started flying, each family blaming the other for yelling racial slurs. By the time police arrived on scene, more than 40 people, well, they were throwing punches.
They tried to gang me, so I just tried to defend myself. And this time I was on the ground and kick and punch.
They had their kids throwing stuff at us, calling us white trash this, white trash that. It's all kind of craziness.
Both families accused the water park of not having enough security. They both also planned lawsuits against the park, holding it partially responsible. A rep for the park says an internal investigation is underway.
Well, a driver got his truck wedged underneath a pedestrian bridge. It's in South Bend, Indiana. The driver wasn't hurt in the crash. Police say the truck didn't even come close to making it through. The whole incident shut down traffic on that road for a couple hours. 2 tow trucks were called in to pull the dump truck away from the bridge.
Coming up, we're learning more about the latest plan for our city's water and how it could affect your bill.
And a warning for you tonight. A man has been reported knocking on people's doors. Why police want you to be on the lookout next. We're getting closer to finding out what you could be paying for your water rates under a new regional water system. In the mayor's plan, Toledo maintains ownership of the Collins Park water treatment plant. Toledo City Council can veto rates sent by the board. They're still determining what the minimum will be and what your bill will look like.
As a technical committee, what we're trying to do is just get numbers straight. We're trying to get the technical portion of it, done so that everyone feels that it's a fair deal, not just for the citizens of Toledo and Lucas County, but for the citizens of the contract communities as well. It's our job to make sure that the numbers work and that the rates are fair.
Toledo City Council is expected to hold a public hearing on the new Regional Water Commission plan August 2nd. Then they could vote to put it on the ballot a couple of weeks after that.
This has been an A-plus evening to sit out on the patio or the deck and enjoy the evening. Also, great night out there for stargazing. It's 71 degrees. The dew point is at 55. Super comfortable weather, and it's going to make for a very comfortable day tomorrow. Lows will be around 55 to 60 degrees. And with your First Alert weather app, you'll see tomorrow will be an excellent day to visit the Lucas County Fair. Plenty of sunshine, another warm day, but with relative humidity at a nice level. I expect a high tomorrow, same as today, right at 86 degrees. And that's going to change heading into the weekend as it becomes much more humid. We'll walk that forecast right through Saturday and Sunday coming up.
Thanks, Robert. Construction now underway at downtown Toledo's newest dining option. City Egg is in the lower level of the ProMedica parking garage, part of Scrambler Marie's, and is like the restaurant, but will deliver faster, have a smaller menu, and full-service coffee and juice bar. City Egg should be opening within the next few months.
The Lucas County Sheriff's Office wants you to be aware of a possible dare scam circulating the area. The Sheriff's Office tells us a man recently approached someone's door claiming to be a deputy trying to sell a coupon book. That person telling the homeowner the proceeds got to the DARE program. The Lucas County Sheriff says it does not solicit for money to support the DARE program. Anyone with questions can contact Brett Warner at 419-213-4977. Well, sports with Dan coming up next with Marathon Classic. The real golf, though.
Yeah, first round tomorrow. They got the Pro-Am today. There's a look at Jason Candle, Toledo Rocket football coach. We'll be right back with sports.
And now, WTOL 11 Sports, sponsored by Spectrum.
Thanks to Spectrum. Well, we're set for the first round tomorrow, 33rd year for the Marathon Classic. Winner Sunday gets a check for $240,000. Favorites, maybe our champion IK Kim, Lexi Thompson, Brooke Henderson. If you're looking for an up-and-coming young player to watch, Mariah Stackhouse, one of the top young players on tour. Stackhouse came here to the Marathon Classic a couple years ago as an amateur with a sponsor's exemption and has never forgotten that experience. She's now a pro, has been playing some of the best golf of her life. She's now a top 50 player. She's got 3 top 15 finishes in her last 5 tournaments and is starting to become more comfortable with life on the tour.
I think, one of the hardest things last year about being a rookie is, everything's being new. So every single week you're getting you're just processing new information, preparing for the tournament, trying to figure out the best ways to play the course. So it was definitely special to get the opportunity to come back here. 1, I got to play as an amateur, which is special in its own self. But then 2, I also was coming back as a pro, but having the knowledge of the course under my belt already.
Highland Meadows has hosted the LPGA almost 30 years. Setting up the course for the LPGA, it's a science. Here's Kelsey Kogan.
Clock in at 4 a.m., grab the gear, and they're off. That's the normal routine for the grounds crew at Highland Meadows.
Our biggest obstacle is weather, by far. If it's nice and sunny and dry, then we're making sure we're keeping everything alive. If we get a little rain, then we're making sure that we dry the place up a little bit. So it's Mother Nature runs this place.
Well, Mother Nature and the hundreds of people getting the course ready for tee time.
To set up all these tents and to set up the fences and the dressing and the flowers and the air conditioning and the food and all that. That's not part, we don't do any of that. That's all part of the tournament operations.
Greg Pattinson says all the hard work pays off to see the final outcome and help the community.
The real biggest part, I think, is charity in Toledo, knowing that what we do provides over $500,000 to local charities, and we're the venue that gets to host that.
Reporting from Sylvania, Kelsey Kogan, WTOL 11.
Rocky River native Jillian Hollis is happy to be back in her home state. Grew up as a standout junior golfer in Northeast Ohio. The 21-year-old has had a whirlwind of a summer, competing in the NCAAs with Georgia last May. Her pro debut at the U.S. Open in June. Now she's back in Ohio at the Marathon Classic. Excited to have her family there this week.
It's so awesome. It's so nice being close to home where I have like family and friends that can come watch me, and I'm not too far, so it's like really easy drive over here, and you really appreciate it when you're traveling so much and you have so many different places you have to go and you have to pack up and then drive 7 hours. So I'm coming from a week off, and to be able to just drive right over here, it's awesome.
Indians bullpen blew up ninth inning last night, gave up 7 runs to the Reds. How would that play into tonight's game? Well, Jose Ramirez made sure they had plenty of runs. First inning, that's a 2-run blast. By the time he walloped this one, third inning, the score was 11-0. Yeah, the Tribe hung on 19-4. Tigers continue the road trip at Tampa, trying to end a 3-game losing streak. Well, here you go. James McCann crushes one, a 2-run homer. Tigers grabbed the lead at that point, but Jordan Zimmerman pitching real well except for this pitch. 3-run homer to C.J. Cron. Just like that, Tigers lose again, 4-2. And that is sports. Be right back.
From Toledo's news leader, this is your First Alert weather forecast.
Some really great weather for heading up in a balloon, and we're looking at the Glass City Balloon Race forecast Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The weather deteriorates a little bit each day. Friday, a great day to get that event kicked off. 87 today's high here in Toledo, was 80 in Cleveland, and we zoom in, you'll see a little bit of a difference from lakeshore areas to points away, like 81 in Port Clinton, 85 over in Defiance, an 86-degree high in Adrian. Now they've cooled back to 70 degrees, and there'll be a heavy dew tonight as temperatures dip down toward the dew point in the upper 50s. Here's your hour-by-hour forecast. A clear sky overnight. Lots of sunshine again tomorrow. It'll be tough to find clouds in the sky. A bright sunny day and a pleasant summer day. The breeze tomorrow will be a little bit lighter, but it is going to be coming in out of the east-northeast. A clear and cool morning. That's your 8 a.m. temperature there, 63 degrees. And at midday, 80 will be the temperature. A nice warm afternoon as temperatures continue their climb up into the 80s. Lucas County Fair, tomorrow's forecast, really nice. 86 the high temperature with plenty of sunshine. So heading out there with the kids, have plenty of sunscreen with you. Here's our First Alert extended forecast. On Sunday, we have a 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms with a high around 90. By that point, you may really be looking for some rain. So Monday, we'll throw right back at you an 80% chance of rain. Here's where a cold front comes through the area. And this will be your best chance at some real downpours, because once that system comes on past, next week see a good stretch of dry weather Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Some more totally ideal summertime weather there in the middle to latter parts of next week. So do you suppose any of the LPGA players are laying in bed awake with excitement, having difficulty falling asleep tonight before the first round? They might be watching. Good luck.
I think that's very much the case.
Yeah.
Still nerves.
Still get the jitters, the nerves. It's fun to see the young players, isn't it?
I've got the butterflies just thinking about covering it tomorrow for the first time in the first round. Yeah.
All right.
It's a lot of fun, though. We enjoy it. Been doing it a long time. Thanks so much. We'll be right back.
Here's one for you guys. A fun vacation adventure turning scary. A 19-year-old was swimming with sharks in the Bahamas when one of them bites down right on her wrist, pulling her under the water. Her boyfriend's dad taking pictures capturing the whole terrifying thing. Luckily, she managed to get herself free, cover her bleeding wrist, and rush to dry land.
You really need to respect them and their home. And if you do go swim with them, I think if you have the opportunity, you do have to take in consideration the risks, and also just maybe don't lean back.
Or don't do it.
You think? The man who owns the marina says nurse sharks are normally docile, but says those sharks could have been feeding, so her exposed fingers and limbs might have been tempting. A sad day for dogs. Jaja, the Minnesota dog who recently won the world's ugliest dog contest, died. The 9-year-old English bulldog, known for her huge tongue, you see it right there, died in her sleep. Jaja lived in a Missouri puppy mill for 5 years before she was bought by a nonprofit organization.
Grab a glass. Today is National Mojito Day. The drink, known to be one of Ernest Hemingway's favorites, made up of white rum, sugar, lime juice, mint, and sparkling water. Its alcohol content is low and it's popular in summertime for many. Some people decorate the drink with mint leaves and lime wedges. There is some debate as to where the mojito came from, but it's been around since 1586 and they're very good. And you have 1 hour left to enjoy a free Slurpee at 7-Eleven stores for July 11th 7-Eleven Day. This year's featured flavor, frozen twist on a classic cereal, Captain Crunch's Crunch Berries. The chain estimates they will hand out approximately 9 million Slurpees by the end of the day.
Oh my gosh, what a flavor. Well, listen to this, a unique deterrent aimed at saving lives on busy roads. Montreal painting crosswalks to look 3D in an effort to get drivers to stop for pedestrians. It's an idea that's new to Canada, but has been tested elsewhere. The crosswalks, you can see them right there, painted white, black, and a shade of gray, making it appear as if the crosswalks are elevated. Local officials hope the optical illusion will increase driver safety by cracking down on speeding. What do you think about that?
Pretty
Quite
cool.
an optical illusion. This continues over on 11.